I think the reps' productivity and output has increased as well. On a monthly basis, they're probably seeing at least 10 to 20% increase in their quota attainment. Here's how Starbridge has made my team's life easier. One of the very first deals that we were able to source because of Starbridge, one of our reps, and this was a bridge that they had built, honestly, probably in just a couple minutes. It was highly targeted at communities that were in Oregon. And the buying signal very clearly referenced some board meeting minute documents about the district replacing their current system. And it specifically cited concerns around things like mobile friendliness, which are, again, those exact things that we feel like we have an incredible edge on. Pretty much 48 hours after that buying signal, our rep was able to book a meeting for our team. And we had a demo, and I believe that's in a pretty good state right now. Hopefully we can close them pretty soon here. By default, the amount of warm buying signals that we're going after, I would say, have increased pretty drastically. I would say they've increased as much as about 50%. With lead enrichment, prior to Starbridge, we were, again, using a legacy tool. It was good, but a lot of those contacts were actually starting to just become stale. It was also very surface level. There was about one contact we were getting per account, and it didn't allow us to actually do sort of this multi-pronged approach and do kind of the multi-threading that's so important. So now we're essentially, for every account, able to grab multiple contacts, very high quality contacts. You know, the reps are incredibly happy with the contacts we're able to pull. If there's a territory that we need to spend more time on, it could be that, hey, this is just a territory that's newer for us, or a territory that's very hot and we want to spend more time there. They will run a very targeted bridge targeted towards pulling leads in that specific region. As soon as a buying signal happens, we have a Slack channel. They essentially emoji thumbs up, thumbs down the buying signal. And these are folks that are actually in our ICP. So it cuts out a lot of that sort of early work where it could be a good signal, but honestly, a good signal is really not worth the team's time unless it's in that sort of customer profile that we're going after. When the buying signal can specifically mention and pull out pieces out of a internal document or a commissioner meeting, those are essentially the exact things that our reps are referencing when we call these agencies, and it just allows for a much more higher intent conversation. And it shows that we've done our homework, which I think is what these agencies care a lot about. I think they're turned off very quickly by someone who's just calling and hasn't actually spent the time to learn about the agency, what their challenges are, and what they're actually looking for. So I think the context that comes with each buying signal is incredible. We would quite literally run these pools, which were these sort of data exports, and the sort of contacts in this tool never changed. They promised that they would change, I think it was semi-annually or almost annually, and the data was stale. But they would pull these sort of contacts directly from this tool with Starbridge. BDRs, on a targeted basis, build these bridges, are able to go after very specific accounts, high intent accounts. I've just heard from the reps firsthand, and I've seen it saving hours from every single day. In terms of lead enrichment and actually generating the contact lists, I think it saved at least a couple hours per day for our reps. So in terms of how Starbridge has impacted our broader go-to-market motion, very quickly, reps have been able to become a lot more strategic. It really supplements account planning, and it allows us to be a lot more intentional about the accounts we go after. When we know there's a high intent account, we can go to market a lot faster on that. What our reps do is they kind of shout out Starbridge when they're sharing a signal with our AEs, and they use the star emoji. We actually had one of our reps, this was last Friday, they actually booked a meeting directly from this lead, and yeah, it was directly from Starbridge.